Consciousness is shifting. Today I was looking at various things around hope, and hope for humanity, and hope for this planet, and also hope for our own spirits about evolving. And what I came up with, and this is a card I pulled out, which is the Eagle, which is trust in your higher self. I'll delve into this a bit more after these few messages. See you shortly. So welcome back, my name's Sage. I'm from Karnak Holistics, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. So I wanted to speak about hope. And as I pulled out this card earlier on, which is the Eagle, and it says trust in your higher self and trust in self or spirit, I wanted to title this video called Hope. And this is really quite important for me. For the last couple of days, I've been really analysing and reflecting and being in meditation, and basically get back to nature about me, my life, what's going on around the world, and basically what's happening around us from our own conscious shifting. And there's been really positive things, and the reality is I think we forget how important life is, how much we take it for granted, and how much that we should learn to appreciate the things that we do have, and also the things that we don't have. And to be quite open and honest, it's a matter about looking at our own inner self and learning to develop what we are about. And as many of you know, over 10 years ago I faced a stroke and a heart attack, which basically I've had about a year to live. And there was other things going on in my life which affected me, but what I wanted to just reflect on is I think it's probably the 11th year now that it would have transpired, and every day I wake up and I thank God for my existence, and I look to serve him more well, and how I can be a service to other people I work with or who come before me and come to my lab who I need to work with. And then it's not just that. So what I'm looking at on a bigger scale is really looking at the day-to-day things I do with my normal job and also my full-time job. And what I'm looking at is me also growing and looking that retirement age for me, say 65, will be 59, I believe that's correct, which isn't that long to go. And within that, I look at what have I achieved and what's actually going on in society that makes me kind of reflect upon what is happening with me. Why am I feeling this certain way? So I've been really in meditation and really in a state of reflection and being off for the last couple of days, really identifying what is actually happening around me and things that's happening in America, and people just being bone idle, selfish. And I don't want to go into the political tip, but the reality is for the fact, no matter what's going on, the struggle, for example, in America, I said I'm not gonna. These are just my views and what I see, but in reality, there are different things going on that, if you cut away you strip back all the reality of what's going on, whether it's Democrats, whether it's Republic, whether it's Labour, whether it's Conservative, whether you're black, white, male, female, lesbian, gay, whatever, we are all human. And we forget that. And in essence, and what frustrates me sometimes is that people, in some ways, I kind of understand that they feel threatened when someone don't understand them or don't have the same ideologies as them, whether it's wrong or right, because everything is a point of view. Remember that it's a point of view, your point of view, which your point of view comes from somewhere else, from somebody else who has shown you what you see today. Well, my views about my life and what I've experienced and what I'm doing is based upon what I've experienced with other people. Now that could change over a period of time, obviously, as you're growing and learning. This is what it's about, and it's being true to yourself. But what's been really frustrating me is that people has missed that we are all the same people. We are all humans. And you know what? I've heard this so many times, people saying to me, well, it's not going to change because for years and thousands of years we've been fighting and killing each other and so on. Just because that's been happening, it's not everybody. And I have to emphasize, it's not a national thing. It's a small, select group. For example, I was out in Israel years and years ago, probably 20 years ago, when all the bombs are going off and there was there was issues with the Gaza Strip. Now I was in Nazareth, which is miles away from the Gaza Strip. And everyone was, in the UK, was worried, obviously, I may be bombed or killed and so on because I'm over in Israel. Now, if I want to put in relation to where I was staying, for example, in Nazareth at this time, and where the Gaza Strip is, it's like me being in London and then Gaza Strip being in Manchester. It's a totally different area. And even if you was in the same facility, the Gaza Strip was just like a strip, like a road. But what was kind of interesting was that people identified, and again, this goes down to, I think, how it's reported by the media and how we need to really strip away the words that have been said. When they said Israel, another bombing in Israel, doesn't mean that bombs going off in Israel left, right and centre. Or it doesn't mean that bombs going off left, right and centre in the UK. You know, so the reality is we need to really look about what we identify, what truth is. And that means digging it a bit deeper and understanding that just because I have a belief, someone else has a different belief to me, it doesn't mean either one are right. It's your journey, and we need to learn to respect that person for their journey. Now, to strip away this whole faction in America, the reality is the land over there is probably only 400 years old anyway, because it was populated by the Apache Indians. You know, so at the end of the day, I heard this saying the other day where I think someone was talking on CNN and somebody said, we were here first, and then someone responded and said, well, no, you wasn't actually. We are visitors. We are visitors. We are new residents compared to what people were there before. So this again goes by what we know in our life. And now I'm not saying it's wrong or right, because obviously it's your home and you love it dearly, which is good. And one thing I keep saying, at least a lot of people have a lot of passion and are not giving up on their own beliefs. But what is important is that we need to cut away and really strip away and really understand the core of what belief is and what we see should be deemed to be truth in order to impact others. And I think that's the key thing, is you can believe and follow what you should, so does somebody else, but have respect for somebody else's beliefs or way of living. And just because you're gay, straight, black, white, yellow, green, whatever, it doesn't deem that you're right because whatever struggles happened from the past or what struggles could happen in the future. It's what you do in this particular moment and what you represent yourself and for your cause is about. So what your individual states, for example, with me being a black man. So when I worked in a white dominated environment many years ago, but they identified the black male race by my own actions. But yet I didn't dominate and say that, like, because it was a more white and orientated environment, I never determine and judge everyone based upon that, based upon what I see. We all do, I suppose, to a degree, but the reality is that we need to learn to start stripping that away. And I realized over a period of time that I was trying to always correct myself and make myself look acceptable And even if it went against my own, what I believed deemed to be true in my own self, whatever I was raised in or whatever I came into contact with, if it didn't fit in with their plan, I would try and shift my way to be accepted. Until it got to a point where people, no matter what I was doing, I spent time and time again trying to change that. And I remember us having a conversation saying, look, you believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, but I'm just going to respect you for what you do. And whether you respect me is how I respect you. And I just held truth and owned my own stuff. I came out and explained I was spiritual and that what the work that I do, and that I'm like Wiccan and I'm a wizard or a warlock or sage, whatever you want to call it. And I think because they knew me and they accepted me, they knew that the craft wasn't that way, or that types of belief system wasn't that way. And I think this goes back to Islam. So when you've got bombings going off and they do it for the sake of Islam, it doesn't mean every Muslim is a terrorist. That's not the case. It doesn't mean because if a paedophile is white, it doesn't mean every white person is a paedophile. It doesn't mean every black person is a rapist. You know, it's the individual person. It's individual circumstance, and that we need to we need to start determining our own justifications upon what we analyze other people with. And in essence, I've given up on trying to fit in. I'm respectful. I respect your environment. I respect who you are until you disrespect me. Don't care who you are. You disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you back. Because just because you think you hold a position or an authority or whatever, respect is the key thing. If we don't have any respect, I don't know what we don't have. And I remember saying, like, you know, when I'm ill, nobody knows because they just don't take the time to really give a damn or give a shit to check up and see if I'm okay. I have to either put it out there or talk to people and say blah, blah, blah. No one has that contact to turn when I say that. Does not matter. That's just how it is. I'll just move on with what I do and how I exist. But the reality is that we are all a part of this world. We all live together on this planet as one. And it's important that we learn to identify what is key for ourselves. Now, there is amazing things happening now. You see the unity in America, though the media is putting out there a lot of negativity. There's lots of unity and people coming together and helping each other. You see people in the UK now coming together, helping people build businesses, starting their lives as they're homeless, helping kids who can't eat or don't have enough food, poor people. They're starting to now support and help. All this is coming out to show that humanity is humanistic. Humans are not just beings, are humanistic to each other. We love each other. We support each other. And it's important that that type of news isn't just isolated news. That news is the true news and what we do. So we need to start embracing it and start pushing out there and start really singing about it. And there was this one guy I was watching on TV today who was talking about this whole vaccine. And he was really optimistic, and he was saying, he was a professor, and he was saying, I'm really optimistic, things are changing, we're moving forward, it's good to see this happening. He was really at it. Someone you wouldn't expect to be like that. It's almost like he made a conscious decision to kind of like put out there, and the reporter didn't know how to take that. He was like, I'm glad with to see your enthusiasm. You know, normally it's like, it's always blame. There's always too much blame. We need to move away from that. We need to start identifying the good that's going on. We need to celebrate the good. We need to start uplifting that and pushing the good out there. We need to start doing good by other people. We need to be showing, because our children will see us. I'm conscious and I'm aware of my grandchildren seeing how we are, and I'm very focused and making sure that how I conduct myself is I'm kind of accountable for who I am, for what I do, for what they see, because I do see certain things. They know I'm spiritual. I never hid that. Yeah, I had to hide it in my last life when my kids were growing up and my children knew, but no one else really knew. But this time around, everyone knows, and I'm not afraid or ashamed of who I am and what I am. You know, my children as well are very spiritual, very open about it, but I can't change whether they want to be or want to walk this path or not. That's their journey. And I would never impose anything like that upon them in a negative way. It's also it's a beautiful journey. But what I'm trying to say is that there is hope. There is a new hope. We all need to start looking and start going in tomorrow, or going in, phone up an old friend or phone up a friend and say hi, or text them, say how you doing, you know, just really how you doing. Say it from a place of love. Turn to your partner and say, did you have a good day today? And really listen and feel what this person is saying to you. When you're when you're going on a bus, or when you go on a journey, or you'll be in a supermarket somewhere and you're social distancing, but just say hi. Just say hi as you walk past somebody. Just see what the reaction's like. And if it's negative, doesn't matter. You know, if they just look at you funny, doesn't matter. Keep moving on. And I can guarantee you it will improve and it will uplift you. Negativity cannot overthrow positivity. Positivity can overthrow negativity. So that's my invitation to you, is to make that difference, to make that change. Look at the new hope. Trust in yourself and follow it through, and see what you can manifest, and see when you're in a good place, and when you're saying good morning or good afternoon or good evening to somebody from a place of love. See how your day unfolds, see what positive things happen for you, and see what things manifest in your life over a period of time that you're not really planning for, and see how they react with you and how you feel on the inside. More importantly, we need to not forget that we can't start all this without learning to appreciate who we are, learning to understand who we are, because somebody else outside cannot necessarily heal us. We need to learn to heal ourselves. We can get support from other people, to talk to them, to guide you, but we need to face those called demons, or walk through them doors ourselves. Once we do that and we can start walking through the doors and overcoming stuff, you will see how beautiful life can become. So I'm going to stop there, and you know what? Embrace hope, love hope, and keep hoping, keep manifesting, and stay true to yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed and namaste.